All right, I'm recording already.
Okay.
So once again, thank you for being willing to participate in this.
Of course.
Yeah, so for part of my assignment, I'm really just curious about, as a student who's going to school, who speaks a different home language than English here at school, how does that, first off, if you could tell me how your language functions at home and how it's different here at school. Let's just start with that.
I mean, at home, of course, I usually speak Spanish because my mom speaks Spanish. But also sometimes I'll speak to my mom in English, try to get her to understand some words. Or my brother and my sister. So it's kind of like multitasking sort of ish. But mostly what we speak is at home is Spanish. And here at school, it's pretty much English. Just with the teachers, I got friends that speak Spanish too. Sometimes we talk in Spanish, sometimes we talk in English. So I mean, it wasn't really like a hard transaction for me.
Okay.
Of course, it was hard learning English, but my languages have met at a certain point where I can speak both of them good, like I said, and pretty much nothing has changed.
All right. So now I want to know, are you the oldest in the family?
I'm the third. I'm the third child.
Okay. All right. Now you said you speak to your brother in Spanish and
Yeah.
and English.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is he younger than you then?
No, I have an older brother and I have a little brother.
Okay. And do you just speak to all family members, both in Spanish and English?
Yeah, well, just sometimes we just switch it up. Like if we're talking to my mom, we'll talk in Spanish, tell her something. And if I'm talking to my brother, sometimes I talk in English, on the phone or just in general about a part or something.
Okay. So I also come from a family that doesn't speak English, and we speak home. And one thing that I see myself and my siblings doing a whole lot of is we speak to our mom in English. We know that she can speak it.
Yeah.
We know that she's fluent. Yeah, she can read and write and speak it. However, in a social setting, her confidence just goes way down. Is that something similar that you've seen with your mom or any of your family members in terms of speaking at home versus speaking out maybe in school or at a restaurant?
I guess you could say I'm kind of like the one. I mean, none of us goes down. Of course, my mom, when she goes to work, she talks English. She does her best. She's not the best at it, but she does her best. Sometimes she does. She understands them. So, if you ask her a question in English, she understands you. And she would try to do, the hardest to, answer you. But for us, I guess you could change. If we go to a restaurant as a family, mostly me and my brothers talk, since
Okay.
we're the fluent ones. Well, we all kind of alternate, or sometimes we just ask my mom something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So in school here at La Follette, do you have particular spaces that you see yourself using Spanish more than English? I know you mentioned speaking with friends, and I'm trying to ask what about certain classes or certain let's say literature? Are there things that you would like to see or things that you're currently seeing that are actually great?
I mean, what I actually like right now with this year, is that I'm taking AP Spanish.
Nice.
So then I'm with a lot of friends that talk Spanish, with the teachers that talk Spanish. So it kind of helps me keep my language in my system. And I mean, from what I've seen, it's pretty good, I guess. Because I mostly talk English with my teachers. But if I have some friends, sometimes we talk in Spanish.
Okay. So in your AP Spanish course, I'm assuming was it from day one where everyone just kind of expected we're gonna speak Spanish, we're gonna read it?
Well, I mean, our teacher's not that harsh on us.
Okay.
If you say a word in English, she's not gonna come at you and oh, why are you saying that? Or nothing. No, she understands us. But since day one, pretty much all of us had the mindset just to talk Spanish, do our best. I mean, not all the time you're gonna know the word in Spanish. And yeah.
All right. In terms of how the school is supporting secondary languages outside of English, as a Spanish speaker, do you feel like you've been getting the resources, you've been getting the help, are there any signs outside that when you see it in Spanish, you immediately recognize like, oh, like that's something that's the schools have been doing to like help Spanish speakers or speakers who don't speak English in general.
Well, I mean, the school, like, it has changed. Like, it has changed, and I mean, yeah, it does help us, like, as Spanish speakers, because not some people might come from a different country and they don't know how to speak English right away, but school is there to help them get through it and learn English. And I mean, you also can take, like, DLI courses. There's, like, history. Histories are the classes of DLI, most likely. I took that freshman year and sophomore year. So like
How did you like DLI courses?
it was the same thing. Like it was just awesome just to see how much people were either speak Spanish or were interested in speaking Spanish. It was just amazing just to see like how we could actually speak our nature, like our language here in school.
Yeah, I like personally, I absolutely love that. I think for me, language has always been a place where like, one like, um, I can speak to my grandparents, right? Like, they don't know English. Like, they moved here in '93. They haven't learned a word of English. They didn't have a chance to go to school. And then me being someone who was born here, I kind of feel like I have a certain like responsibility to actually keep my language alive. Like, is that something that you sort of feel like as well, or how like what are some ways that you're kind of thinking about like how do I keep this as a part of me?
Well, the ways that I think of, like, always talk. If you have an opportunity to talk in your language, go ahead. Never let that go, I guess. Because, like, let's say you don't want to talk in your language for maybe, let's say 7 months. Of course, you're gonna forget some words. You're gonna forget probably a sentence. So yeah, always if you have the opportunity to talk in your language, take it. Take advantage of it, because not all the time you'll have that problem. And just keep going from there, I guess.
All right. Have you ever been in a class where you felt like man, like this would be like so much more helpful to me if I had certain sort of like certain resources that can help you make the association or make the connection between like what you're seeing in English and then if that was in say Spanish, like it would be that much more helpful. Have you ever felt that way in a certain class?
Not really. 'Cause, like, at the end of the day, if you don't get like let's say a homework, you could always go to the teacher, ask for help, ask for like, let's say I don't understand this word. What do you mean by this? Like, what are you trying to get out of us? Just go up there and ask. Don't be shy. I mean, there's also like Spanish speakers like Hector here, Miss Emily, that you can go up to, and if you don't understand it, you can be like, can you translate it for me? Help me out with this.
I think it's so very important that speakers, who travel different homelands, that they have like either, a staff member who knows who knows that language and who might come from a very similar background, and also like you said before, just having friends to actually share such like it's not like a private place, but it's like it's a very safe place. It's always reminded me of home when I can speak my own language in a different setting, like no matter where I am. There's people who speak the language. It's like, oh yes, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Is that how you kind of see, the school environment?
Yeah, cause like, let's say, yeah, I do see it like that. Cause like you said, when I hear someone is speaking Spanish, I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'm not alone. I can speak my language without thinking, like, oh, they're looking at me weird. They think I'm weird or whatever. So I guess, yeah.
All right. I remember. So I'm from like Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and it's predominantly like many other cities is there's a big white population. The Hmong population is it's there, however it's like much smaller, of course. And I remember I think in first grade I think I was testing for like EL, I was taking some sort of EL test. Do you have any experiences with that? If you could share some, if you would like to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I came here when I was 9 years old, so of course I came in here like in preschool or elementary school, like fifth grader. It was kind of hard for me when I started school here because like I didn't know language, but I mean like sometimes during the test they would do their best to help me get through it, or like if I understood something, I would like answer it correctly. Um, Other than that, I would ask for help.
Okay.
But
So, I'm just curious, did your mom, I know that you said like, you do speak English to her just to like try to get her to pick up on a few things and try to learn some words. Um, do you feel like did she have the opportunity to learn some English like when she first got here?
um,
How did that actually play out in terms of like her and her like relationship with learning English? How did that happen?
well, like when we first got here, of course, she kind of didn't get out the house for a bit. Then she got a job. Um, and I mean, of course, at a job, you're gonna talk English and Spanish. Sometimes English, Spanish speakers are, and pretty much she's pretty much doing her own. Sometimes of course, I try to talk to her in English. I tell her what it means in Spanish. But she's done it most of the time on her own. She doesn't know how to speak it yet, but I mean, she understands it. I mean, I feel like that's the most important thing, just to understand the language, even if you can't speak it. Because at the end of the day, like if you don't understand it, but you can speak it, like what's the point of knowing it? Well, yeah, I mean, she probably pretty much learned it herself.
Okay. I think, like just personally speaking, I think what you're doing, for your mom, absolutely incredible. I want to know, like, do you consider Spanish to be like, has it always been something that is incredibly like, you know, helpful? Is it an asset to you, or do you sometimes see it like it's not, like it's a hindrance in you and your education?
It's been helpful, of course, because like not everybody has the opportunity to learn two languages, or maybe three even. And I mean it's helpful because at the end of the day, like I mean different kind of friends. Like I have a friend that also speaks Hmong. I have a friend that speaks French. So like at the end of the day, we both like kind of just tell each other words, and if we can stick to it, then we know what it means. Like we can probably sometimes I just make a conversation with them like that. And I mean, that's pretty cool seeing your friends grow, like, or you grow, them teaching you the same language that they grew up with, and then you grew up with a different language. But like at the middle, you guys come and like kind of compare, like tell each other your words and everything. I mean, it's pretty fun because I met a friend when I was in fourth grade, the first time I started school here, and we both didn't know English. And of course, he speaks Hmong and I speak Spanish, so there was no way to communication right there. But like we would, this teacher would bring us out of class. We never had the same class, but the teacher bring us out of class, and like we would both go read like the little books, just try to get together. And since then, we've both been pretty much best friends. And
That's awesome. I'm sorry.
no,
I just can't help but to smile because, like, I think there's so much to be said about,
yeah,
emergent bilinguals, where students who for one reason or another they immigrate here and then they don't know English, but then they're starting school, and the question becomes how can the school support them to be successful students, but also to not lose their home language. And it sounds to me like you two started in very similar places where
yeah.
you didn't know English, but I think what the school did and what the teachers have done, and perhaps even what happens at home, like I think it's been working.
Yeah.
No, that is awesome. I love it so
Yeah.
much.
I mean, like I told you, we pretty much been knowing each other till this day. We're still cool. We still hang out. And I mean, I go to his house. He comes over to mine. And I told him to take Spanish classes. I helped him with his homework if he needs help. And sometimes we talk in Spanish. I mean, it's pretty cool just to see how we can communicate. Like how we started without knowing English. Now we both speak it fluently. And then like we can also communicate in our own languages.
Yeah, I think that like how can I say this best? Like to know a different language is almost to understand an entirely different world.
Yeah.
Um, can you give some examples about how, because language might be different, how your experiences have been different both at home and in school?
Well, my experiences, of course, like, let me say, sometimes, I mean, They've both been challenging, but I guess Spanish been easier because I was born over there, I was raised, and of course it's a whole different world. Like you say, pretty much knowing another language is like knowing something else, knowing something new. Because let's say in Mexico, I would talk Spanish my whole life. Um, I came here, it's just kind of different. The cars, the way the houses look, and everything. And I mean, where I'm at right now, my home, I see it like the same as my back in Mexico, but like school is kind of different. Because like, of course, I don't have the old friends that I used to have back then. We talk different languages here. Um, but then also when you have like the opportunity, like the AP Spanish class, it's pretty cool to know that you can talk Spanish in school and not like be criticized or just like bullied at just for talking your language.
So I was born here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. But in your experience, you came here when you were 9. Can you give like just your first impression of being in like a new country where, like you said, the houses are different, cars are different. How did you make sense of all that?
Well, when I first got here, at some point I was happy. Oh wow, I never thought I would get here. Like, I never thought I was gonna be here with my family, with everybody that I love. And when I first got here, like it was kind of new to me. Pretty much everything was new to me. Like after hearing my cousins, going out to stores with them, learning them how to speak it, it's pretty just cool. And I mean, at the end of the day, I learned how to speak it. And that's pretty cool just to know how to speak another language. It was just kind of like at some point at the beginning it was like kind of scary, but then you kind of overcome it. Like, you just at some point you're like, oh, like what if I go out alone or I don't speak it? People ask me questions. But then also like I came here with the mindset like I'm gonna learn it, I'm gonna get through it, and I'm just trying to speak to everyone else like a normal kid.
I think that sort of confidence is very important. I have some relatives. They came here from Thailand in like 2005, and their family's big. So a lot of the older children, I don't think they felt no. I don't think they felt confident in like their English abilities. So for them, like higher education wasn't a possibility for them because of that barrier. Although they graduated high school, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They graduated, they know how to read and write English, but
The
they just
barrier.
they just didn't have that confidence of believing that I can do this. So they went off into the workforce, and now they're supporting their younger siblings to say, hey, like you don't have to work the same job that I'm doing out here. Like, do you have plans for higher education?
I do, because it's the same thing like you said. My brother came here and graduated high school. My older brother graduated high school. He went into college, but then I kind of fell off. And he's a man. I mean, right now, where he's at, it's pretty cool because he's a manager at a warehouse. So it's like pretty awesome to see where he's at. And he's pretty much been my motivation. Just keep telling me, keep it going, don't stop, and just like don't give up. I mean, that's what I've been thinking of, like during the days. If I see I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna keep going until I reach my goal. Because if you set a goal for yourself, you're gonna get there. And I mean, no barrier can stop you. All right, just bulldozer, I guess.
I love that.
Say.
All right, I want us to shift attention just a little bit. So here, you can actually choose which markers you'd like. Pick out like 2 or 3 colors. And I'll do this activity with you, don't worry. So we're going to create what's known as a language map. So let's say, for example, let's consider the colors that we speak. I mean, not the colors, the languages that we speak. Oh yeah, so like let's say for me, I'll use orange as English, and I'll use purple as my home language, which is home, right? So based on like your thought process, like sometimes for me, when I think about family, when I think about music, when I think about like food, it's usually in terms of home because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Like what language do I feel most confident with? I'll probably put it in my dominant hand.
Yeah.
And then based on like where I take these languages with me, if I'm gonna be at home, if I'm at school, at work, at the store, at the restaurant, wherever, that's where I'm gonna put the orange as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so consider like your languages and how you might use them in different settings and why that may be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this doesn't have to be a silent activity. We can certainly talk
Yeah.
while reading this. So I'm like honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and like mark where the heart is because I know like there's no replacing the heart language. Yeah.
And they can be.
Yeah. That's just not it. So I'm just gonna start. Yeah, do what's gonna work for you.
Yeah. You say you're from Thailand?
My parents, they're from Laos, but then they became refugees because of the war in Thailand for about 10 years, and then in 93, yeah, they moved to Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and then they never left.
No, that's pretty cool. My friend, the one that I grew up with, pretty much, is from Thailand. So.
But did he also come here? Like, wait, what year did he come here? Do you know?
Over 9, so now we're 17. So it's 8 years ago. It's 2011.
Okay. I had heard that like, due to like certain immigration policies that was kind of like one of the last years that I think the U.S. may have been accepting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Folks in Thailand. I might be wrong. I'm not too strong in that area, but within the Hmong community, people are always talking like, I want to bring like family over. Like, how can I get that done? That's always a conversation that people can have.
Well, for me, I guess you could say it was the most important part was my dad, because he lived here. So
Okay.
he has his brothers lived here, and he was a citizen. So that's how he fixed papers for me and my family. So we kind of didn't like have to worry about anything else. But I mean, also it could be scary though.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it one bit. Like, so my relatives that came over, they're actually my grandpa's brother and his entire family,
Yeah.
and like they haven't seen each other in probably 10, 11 years. And then suddenly you get news that, oh yeah, like we're gonna be moving over, or it's
no
like, oh
way.
yeah, like all of our work has finally come down to a point where I can see my family again.
Yeah.
Like I was so, like I wasn't surprised, but I was like, wow, there's this sort of different feeling of I'm so glad for everyone. How do I make sense of that? Like I think so much of our language deals with family, and it's hard to see that, I think, when you're not at home. Especially when for me, I'm here, I'm not really with family. Like they're 100 miles away. Like they're not that far, but the fact is, like I don't get to go home and see my mom.
Yeah.
I don't get to go home and see some family. And when there's like certain events on the weekends, I can't go there sometimes because I have other things to commit my time to. That's one thing that I've definitely had to like really think about in terms of a future career or just any sort of like schooling choices that I have to make, and knowing that like I'm an adult now, I have to make these decisions. I think they know that they can't do it for me, so I have to do it for myself.
Yeah. Like you said, it's gonna be hard at some point when you leave. But I mean, at the same time, like, you know that your family's always gonna be there for you,
Yeah.
no matter what. So like, it is like you said, it is kind of a big step when you become an adult, because you're gonna leave your family behind at some point. But there's always those opportunities to go back and see them.
Yeah.
Those opportunities never get taken away from you. I guess as long as you put the effort and your work to it, and you can do whatever you want to do in this world, because nothing can stop you. The only person that can stop you is yourself. Like, I mean, that's what I see it as. I see, like, the only person that can stop me is myself. Like, if I don't want to do something, myself can stop myself. Like, if I want to become, that's what I think of. And let's say all these bad people in this world, all they do is themselves. Probably your parents, your family wasn't a great help. But if you surround your friends, your surroundings with good people, instead of bad people, at some point you're gonna be, I guess, where you wanna be.
I think like oftentimes, well, first of all, you're very driven. I think that that much is clear. And like, I just wanted to like kind of say like, dude, I think you're gonna go places. Like that's the kind of attitude that I wish I discovered a long time ago. Um, and like for me, I've found education to be a bit of a lonely journey. Not only just from like the linguistic side, but I know like growing up in like a public school setting, there wasn't a whole lot of text that reflected like my home culture and my home language that I could actually read. Now we're seeing it a lot more, but 10, 15 years ago, I didn't see it all that. Um, so that's what made it lonely on like one front. But now the other side is, like we said before, I'm simply away from friends. Not every one of my friends are in college with me, and that's okay. I'm away from family. Like I can kind of only see them during the weekend or if we have a break, right? And that's just a part that I've kind of had to come to accept. And my struggle right now is, how do I do all this without losing my language? I don't want to compromise.
Yeah.
Like, have you had that struggle?
Well, I mean, not certainly. I mean, if I'm being honest, during the summer, I had this opportunity where I was working with my brother at the warehouse. And that was pretty much the second year I worked with them. And his boss pretty much known me because I just worked there this summer. But his boss came to ask me and my cousin if we could help him open a warehouse in Indiana for like a month and a half before we started school. And me and my cousin were like, that's a great opportunity for us, pretty much just to see how the world is without our parents, I guess, without our family. And so we said, well, first we talked with our parents and everything. They said okay, and then we said okay. So, like you said, we only had the opportunity to come and see them during the weekend, because Monday through Friday we had to be over there working, staying at a hotel. And when I saw that opportunity as like, that's pretty much the real world. At some point, of course, there was a hotel. Of course, we weren't paying nothing. We were getting paid, but we're still working. We're still doing like what people do, I guess. And like that opportunity for me was kind of helpful, because now I see how it is, how the real world is. That kind of made me a little bit independent, I guess you could say. That was pretty awesome. I mean, just working with my cousin, working with them, working in Indiana, somewhere where I hadn't been. Staying at that place for like a month and a half. That's pretty cool. Of course, I miss my family every now and then, but it was just awesome because I mean, like you said, you might not have family with you, but like if you do, I guess try to talk as much English as you can. Pretty much.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Before we end here, I just want us to both share like how we've colored this and why that is. Did you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So purple is for my home language, and then it's home. And I covered like the majority of like the head and neck area because, for the first like 5 years of my life, like of course I had other family members that could speak English, but home was like the home language. That's all I knew before I actually went to school. And then being in school, having been in school for so long, English is something that I've learned how to read, write, use, and understand. It's like in this nation, it is like the language of power. It's academic language, and like that's fine with me. But I don't want to learn that if it's going to like have me lose so much of my language and culture. I don't want to lose that part of identity. So that is why like the heart, that's not going to change. Like it's purple. It's that simple. I put purple, and I'm a right-handed person, and I drew purple outside of my hands because like I think for me this represents my language and my community. I know how big language plays in my community, like weddings, funerals, like family gatherings. Of course they're going to incorporate our language and our culture. So like I use this, I think I may not use this as often on a daily basis, but I think I've used it in ways that mean so much more to me than English could ever kind of do.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I know like, you know, being bilingual, sometimes I do feel like I'm kind of like walking this very fine line of like two different worlds. Because I have to shift in and out of speaking English from home. Sometimes both. If my friends, we speak both and we're comfortable with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But again, I have so much family that came from Thailand 15 some years ago. They don't know that. They don't know English that well. I have family members and extended family. They've been here since the 80s. They still don't speak English a whole lot, you know, and that's fine. So again, I have to always kind of be aware of who I'm talking to and why I'm going to speak, like which language I'm going to use. And so I left orange. I streaked orange on the arm because I don't think like where I'm with the English language, it works for me for now, but I do want to learn more about it. I want to learn like cooler sounding words. I want to learn words that might work better if I'm writing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I streaked it on the arm. And again, for the leg, I'm always in and out of two different languages, and I don't think that's going to change. I think I've come to accept it, and you know, for a while now, I've been okay with it.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, green, Spanish, where I come from, Mexico. Pretty much same thing as you. For the head and neck area, I did 75% green, pretty much. So I mean, that just my mindset, like Spanish, and like 25% English, because like, it kind of came into play after that. The heart, of course, I'm always gonna be Hispanic. That's never gonna change. And I also did that thing around the hand, my right hand, because I'm a right-handed person, and I feel like most of the power is the language that you speak. Cause like
Languages.
like I could say like this walkouts that we have certainly about the heart. It's mostly like Hispanic. Of course, there's some kind of like white people in there. There's always colored people around you, and your language, the language that you speak, that you first learn to speak, is pretty powerful to me. That's why I see it. I also did my right leg because like, I guess just the right leg, right step. You could always have that, and then I did like for the hand, for the left hand, I did streaked, and I did like a little circle around my hand because I know English, I can speak it. Like you said, I want to learn more words, but I also know that if I need to, English is always gonna be there for me. It's just kind of gonna be a second language. And then my left leg, I streaked it because it's like this kind of back step. If I can like if I speak Spanish and at some point like I feel like I'm stuck, I just like backtrack and try to think in English and then try to see how I can like translate it or make it into my own Spanish sentence. Let's say I'm speaking Spanish to a person, and of course, like you said, I'm always gonna be living like in the middle of two worlds, English and Spanish, and I'm trying to translate for someone else, helping them out, like reading English, and then there's my left step, my left leg, and my left hand, just there, just waiting. And if I feel comfortable translating for them, it's pretty much that's what I see as like your language is always gonna be the power of you. Never hide the language that you're born with. Never let it go away. That's what we say.
I think like throughout this process, you've said like just so many things that I find myself smiling at because I agree.